Boy, did it get expensive today. What this video is about is I found an auction zip. I've been increasing my radius on auction zip that I'm going to drive to. And that's one of my goals next year, is to drive farther. If I got to stay overnight somewhere in another state or something, I'll do that too if the cards are worth it. And this is one that I found, and it's basically this. It was an auction zip. It said Postcard Auction, Postcards Auction. And it explains here, and I'll leave this one part of the description here and you can pause it and read it. But it says this auction consists of over 1,000 Frankfort, Indiana postcards, including a rare Teddy Roosevelt card. Now I did see that card. He's way in the back. I wasn't paying the $60, $70, $80 these people paid for that. I don't think there'd be a return for that. But when I looked at this auction, I said, wow, this is really something neat. I've never been down to Lafayette Auction House. And then they go into other postcards in the collection. There's Battlegrounds and there's different things. And then these were the individual cards. Then they have flats. And I'll show you what a flat here is in a second. And they have choice on flats. That was a concern of mine, how long this is going to be. Because if you put 30 cards in a flat and say choice, and say you win the auction for $2 a card, and you pick 10 cards out of the flat, that's $20. That's what choice is. You get to pick, but you pay $2 a piece. Well, if they did that with each tray, it's going to take forever. But it was pretty smooth, and I'll show you in a second how that worked. Then they have other things. They have won all money, but a lot of it was choice in the trays, and it worked out well. But it just kept going, and I said, wow, there's probably some stuff in here these people don't know they got. And so I decided that I was going to go. I had it all planned. But here's some of the photos that also teased me. They had all these photos of some of these cards. And then at the bottom of the second page, they had Halloween. They had 8 Halloween cards. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 5 Halloween cards, 6 Halloween cards. And I said, okay, I've been picking those up. I wonder if I can get these for pretty good money. And here's some of the other pictures they had. They got one of a drugstore, courthouse, a bank, and some policemen. Real photos. Then they had one of a park or something with a gate. Then they had a Harley Davidson one. Guys, that one didn't comp out real well. There's a lot of those Harley Davidson pictures, but it sold like crazy money at the auction. I knew I was going to touch that. But a closer look at the Halloween cards are right here. Lady, witch, and a cat. And the one I really like is the one with the potions in the middle there. That's the one I really want. I don't care what the price is. I want that card. Then the one on the right, when I just really fast comp these things, I just threw the picture in Google Image real quick and just say, where should I be? That one didn't do as well, and I got to recheck that. But then you get another little guy with pumpkins and a dog, and then they had 2 Santas singled out. Those were like $5, $10 cards. Real quick things. I knew they were just red Santas. I knew I was going to do that. And those went kind of crazy. So I planned on going there, and I had it all set. I told my wife I'm going to go to an auction. Probably going to be a little more expensive than the one I go to here. And I told her, I said, I think I'm going to be going up nostalgic people. People want some history of the town they grew up in, and collectors. It won't be resellers like the auction here. There's a lot of resellers, so they don't bid as high. The prices don't get as high on some things. So I think it's going to be an expensive day. It was. And I had it planned for Saturday. Now Saturday I told my wife I'm going to go. She said that's my granddaughter's birthday get-together here at the house. I said, okay, auction's off. My granddaughter's more important. Well then, during the week, not that it's a positive, it's bad, but my 1-year-old, my son's family, he got sick with something at daycare that he couldn't come over because it would spread to my in-laws and me and everybody else. So they're not coming. So my wife asked my daughter if we could move it to Sunday so I can go to the auction. I didn't know she did that. And then she told me, and I said, yes. So I had to pull everything back out that I was working on for the auction because I kind of dismissed it. And then I figured out what I was going to do. But here's the route I would take there. It's only an hour and a half, basically 100 miles, 105 miles to there from my house. I just go down across to Indiana, right past my in-laws because they're 5 minutes from Indiana, hit 65, get down to Lafayette, take a left, go to the flashing light, and boom, I'm right there. So I left the house about 6:30 a.m. because it's in Eastern time, I'm Central time, so I lose an hour. So to get there, I had to leave here by 6:30, 6:45. And the auction starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I wanted a little time in case I have a bad turn, or check-ins a little longer, or I just want to look at the cards. But on the way there, I went ahead and started. But on the way there, I said, I'm going to take the River Road. We have the Kankakee River runs through our area. I grew up here, lived here all my life. We're kind of a river town, and they say it's the cleanest river in Illinois. So I thought I'd take the river out, give you some shots of our beautiful, amazing scenery in the river. And I made a couple stops at a couple fishing spots that I go to, and the dam in Moments. So here we go. So now I think I made it to the auction. Let's see. Yep, that's the auction. At first I didn't know what it was. I had to go around to the side and I seen people going in, and then it was the auction. But I got there about 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, which would be 8:15 my time, Central time. I looked around at all the postcards. I figured out what was going on, and stuff like that. I checked in, got my number, and she told me the rules and stuff. It's normal stuff. And as I was looking there, I figured out what trays I was going to jump on, which one I'm not, and what was in each one. I knew I wasn't going to win them all. There was probably about 40 flats and stuff out there. but I kind of picked out my top 20 that I could kind of remember. So when one goes up, I kind of remember what was in there. But then I found like a half a dozen albums. They had some cards in there, and they said real photos on them. But I looked at them, and they looked too new. It looks like someone just took these out of a camera or something. And they were developed on the Kodak paper, and they had the Kodak stamp box correct, which would be about 1950s and present, around that time. But these all the way across all the books just look like somebody put these together in the last year. And I was like, they could be real, but it just looked too crisp, too whatever. And so I put those out of my mind. I'm not going to touch those reprinted RPCs. I'm not going to have those controversies and conversations with people on there. But the stamp box was right. Everything looked right. But it just looked too new. Even the albums looked too new. So if something doesn't look right, and there's 6 of them, and they all were the same, none of these cards had any wear or anything on them. So I just said, no. I'm not going to bid on any of these. The auction started, and I was wondering how it's going to go, if I can understand the auctioneer, because sometimes they get real cryptic and start blah, 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 and you can't hear, but they were very clear. Very well run auction. And I captured one of the sales he did on my camera. So here's a little sound bit and stuff what the auctioneer sounded like. So I was comfortable with them. Here we go.
10, 10, 15, 10 bid $15, 10 bid $15, 10 bid $15, $15, I dropped there, 10 bid $15, 10 bid 12 and a half, 10 bid $12 $, 10 bid $12, 10 bid $12 $12, 10 bid 12 bid here, 15, 17 and a half, 50 bid 17, 50 bid 17 and a half, 50 here, 17 and a half, and 17, 50 on somewhere, cropped there to 20, 22 and a half, 20 bid 22 and a half, 20 bid 20 bid 20 bid 22 and a half, 20 bid 25, 25 bid 20 bid 25, 20 bid 25 in the back corner, 20 bid 25, 25, 20 bid 25, 25. So 20 bid your way, number 129, number.
That's one of the sales, and it just kept going, and it kept flowing. When he got done an hour, another guy just stepped right in. They had enough help there, and everything was running smooth. They're pulling out the tables, setting up the tables, doing choice, and so they had enough help and staff. The sessions were going, the ladies tracking the sales, auctioneers were holding stuff up, had people doing things. Very well run. I was happy with that. They also, when they had the tray of postcards, and what the trays were these. They're like beer trays. I call them beer trays. They're little cardboard trays, and they would put like 30 cards in there, and they would run the tray. Well, to show everybody, they had a table with a camera pointed down, and they would put it on a big TV screen in front of the auction house. And here's a picture of that. They did it for rings, cameos, and little things too, but that worked out really well because I can remember seeing the card in there. And then when you won choice, you would say, I want them all. So if there's 60 cards in there and you want them for $2 a piece, you paid $120 for the whole flat. Or if you wanted to pick out, I just pick up the whole flat most of the time. And a lot of people would pick through it, so they would take some time. They'd bring the tray over and stand there until they were done, hand the tray back, and they would rerun it and rerun it. And a lot of times I won a tray when it got down to $1 or $2 card. One of them was a church postcards. No one was bidding on it, and the guy just pointed at me because he knew I was buying them. $1, sir? I said, yeah, I'll take them all for $1. And then I won it. And I think there were some other ones. One lot I won, I didn't know really what was in it, but it looked cool. To what I could see on the picture, I knew they were undivided back or divided back on some real photos. They were all schools. I was like, yes. I got them for like $2 a piece. There were 60 cards in there, so I paid $120. I know I can get my money back on those and stuff. But it was well run and on there and stuff. But then when they started the auction, there were some other pottery and lanterns, some oil lamps and stuff like that. I'm saying, oh God, are they going to just do table? No, they pulled from every table. So it was enticing whoever was there. I didn't have to wait for lanterns to get done to get the postcards or whatever. But it worked out really nice. I was there, I left here at 6:30, let's say. I was home by 1:30 Central Time. I knew it was going to get expensive because I wasn't going against resellers. I was going against collectors and nostalgia people, and I wanted the cards. I was there to buy postcards. And last week I just bought a whole bunch of postcards at the local auction I go to for 12 cents a piece. And I knew I wasn't going to get that. But I knew these were some better cards than I bought last week. So I had all these cards. I'm looking at my stack. I got these. I got these. I got these, and then I got all these. I won the Halloween cards, paid up on them, and then I have some favorites here that I'm going to show you here in a second. But what was my end result of the day? I drove an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. Spent 10 to 1 there, so 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. I won 553 postcards. I spent $1,174.86 today on postcards for 553 cards. Not my normal margin, I can tell you that. It got expensive. It comes out to $2.12 a card. I knew if I was going to pay up on the Halloween cards, I had to get some of those dollars and stuff, because what I do with auctions, I spread it out. If I bought 553 cards, I divide it by the price, and that's what I bought. I'm not worried about paying up, paying down, what I did for each individual thing. It's what I did for the day. That's how I always done it. Some people do it differently. That's what I do. That's how I do auctions. In the beginning, I bought some flats right away, a little higher to run, just to see what the temperature was and see if I could run some of these people out of some money. By the time it got to the better cards, it didn't work real well. Local auction works fine. You can run some of these paper guys out, Comic Book Boy and some of the other ones. But if I sold every one of these cards, 553 cards at $5 a piece, I would gross $2,765. Pay for my $1,100, and I would make another $1,000. But I think most of these cards are going to sell higher than that. So let's say $6. I don't think I got any killers here. Even the Halloween ones are going to be average and stuff, but it's nice to have different things in the store to bring people in too. So let's say $6 a card is probably what my average is going to be, I think. It might be a little higher. I haven't done a lot of comping. I just know what I know. So if I sold all these cards for $6, I'm going to make $3,318 gross. When they all sell, you know postcards are going to sit for a while. But I should be able to recoup my money in the first year or so. It's just one of those sales cycles. So I don't think I'm not losing money. I don't think the trip was not failure. But I'm not getting the margin I had like last week or the week before, or when I bought the big haul from Nashville and stuff. I had a little bit more room. And when I bought the cabinet one from my wife's friend, so it all averages out. So I had to pay up today, and I was okay with that. I have the money to do that. But I did pick up the 8 Halloween cards. Now my favorite Halloween card is this one, and I'll put it on the screen. So these are the Halloween cards. So I got the one on there with the potion, with the wand and the potion. That one's probably the best one out of them all. And the other ones I got all of those Halloween cards. But another favorite I got is this one, and I'll put it on the screen. It's a real photo postcard, all the triangles up. So if I look at my stamp box that you can get in Ko-Fi, ASO 4 triangles up is around 1904 to 1918. So this is 1910, circa 1910. It's a Coca-Cola sign, and I could actually go to my video when I looked at the writing and verify that, and a kid on a little short pony. And it's posted from Chicago. I did pay up on that one a little bit. It was on a rack of the other cards that were going really high, and it finally got down to choice. No one picked it, so I paid $15 or so for that card. I went up and picked it off. I'm not going to get the best margin on it, but it was probably one of the coolest cards I saw. There were some other ones, drugstores and stuff like that, I just couldn't touch. And there was nothing left for me on it. But for collectors and nostalgic people, it was fine. To sum it all up, the auction was close enough to drive, hour and a half, but I will be probably going farther out, and I might have to stay up a couple nights or something on drives to go to different places next year, just to break it up a little bit and find the right cards that I'm going to be looking for. The drive down there was all nice highways, country roads, no major deal on Saturday. Auction was very well run. They had enough staff, extremely polite, enough parking. There was no issues. Had drinks, had bathrooms, everything you needed. And there was probably 40 to 50 people there. That was it. It was a holiday weekend, Veterans Day, stuff like that, but a lot of people were buying. So if you're saying people aren't buying, I don't know where these people came from then, because they were all buying. Not big high dollars, but they had big piles of stuff around them. So things were moving all those 4 hours I was there. Now I'm going to do a little slideshow of some random cards, not all 500 cards, of some of the things I found. I'm not going to pick all the best ones. I'm just going to grab a handful here, and put them up so you can see the variety of cards that I picked up today. And hopefully when I list them, I'll get get my money back and make a little bit of profit. Then after the slideshow, there'll be some fish. Thanks for watching, and hope you find an auction you can go to like this. Just for the experience, it's priceless. Thanks, here's the slideshow.
shots and you're pouring me a fit. But no girl's ever looked at me like this. Your roommate's pissed, she's halfway out the door. We throw our glasses back and I shiver as your hair kisses the floor. I can't remember which party we danced through that night. The boys ask stupid questions, we just laugh at the secret we can't hide. For the first time, Cinderella's staying out past midnight. Your shoulder. It's not forever, it's just a moment we can smile at when we're older. You grabbed my hand and dragged me to your room. My heart takes off and doesn't stop till she's halfway to the moon. Suddenly we're sober and we're shy, but someday we'll be brave enough to look each other in the eye. I can't remember which party we danced through that night. Boys ask stupid questions, we just laugh.